Hello! I decided to do this particular talk while walking. So you're going to hear some noise in the background. I'm actually walking around my swimming pool here in Hollywood. So you're going to hear the sound of the filter desperately trying to clean our green swimming pool. And you'll hear talking and birds chirping and possible June bugs attacking me. But anyway, I have been trying to get more exercise, trying to sneak exercise into my daily routine, and this is great for artists, especially. Most artists, myself especially, the last thing I think about is exercise while I'm doing my work. And it's become very, very important for me to incorporate that into what I do. So I'm going to see if I can talk about drawing while walking. So anyway, yeah, I've been currently I'm working on an animated film. It's about 3 minutes, and I have 8 awesome artists working on the project as well. And the project is basically a celebration of drawing. We're going to be doing the scene that I'm doing right now is animated on ones, which means a drawing for every 30 drawings per second, which is quite a bit of drawings. There's no cycles, there's no tracebacks, there's no shortcuts, there's no Photoshop filters, After Effects moves. It's all just completely done an old-fashioned way, almost like as if you were to do a flip book. And I just really wanted to give myself a chance to celebrate drawing, which is kind of going away. Obviously, everything is turning into 3D animation, and all that fun stuff. I love 3D. I've actually gotten very, focused on 3D animation, or not 3D animation, but 3D modeling for the last couple of years, and I just love it. But then all of a sudden, out of the blue, I just popped into my mind that I want to do a 2D film again. I did a 2D film many years ago. It was a 9-minute piece. It took me 3 years, 2.5 years. And I thought to myself, no way am I going to do that again. That's crazy. But then this idea popped into my head. I really wanted to do it. I'm thinking, well, if I can get helpers to help me on this, then we can kind of get it done within a reasonable amount of time. So that was the idea, although I got a feeling I might be doing a lot of the actual labor myself, which is A-okay. The one thing I didn't realize, or didn't even think about, because we're going to be doing it in a kind of like a direct ink line approach. There's no sketching, and once you do the drawing, that's it. At least for myself, I'm not redrawing anything. Which is kind of liberating, scary. But as I was working, I realized, geez, I don't really like these drawings. They're just not what I would like to look at. But as I did more and more and more drawings and I filmed it, it looked great. I was like, holy crap, man, this looks cool. So that kind of built my confidence. I just kept going and going. Still didn't like the drawings, but yeah, I'm on 30 drawings, 40 drawings, 50 drawings. And then I started to like it. It started to really click in. I'm like, wait a second, now I kind of like what I'm doing. But I'm still going to keep those original 50 drawings. It's going to be part of the animation. And it's going to have kind of like a wild, kinetic quality to it that I wouldn't have had if I had like really worked hard to make the drawings good. So, in other words, there's going to be a lot of animation where you allow the drawing to be more emotional than perfect. And now I'm pretty happy with the drawings. I'm like, wow, I kind of like them. Not only that, but I found that I can actually relax the same way I would relax doing sculpture. You build your armature, you block in the clay, that's not relaxing. But when you start doing the detailing, it's incredibly relaxing. And I never had that feeling doing animation. Never. It was always labor, and you're always thinking, I just can't wait to get it done so I can, show it or see it or whatever. But the actual process of animation has never been relaxing for me. That's why I don't do it. They do character design and everything else but animation. But with this one, after getting through those first 50 or 60 drawings, I actually look forward to sitting down and doing the next drawing. It's just such a weird feeling. And it makes me think that maybe that's the way it is with all art, is that when you, after you get past that initial, not to sound like a cliche, but an initial learning curve where you're trying to do a specific style or work in a specific manner, that once you get past that, it can actually be fun. And fun meaning you're not thinking about the technical side, you're just kind of on autopilot. And once I start to, if I can sit down and do a drawing, animation drawing, and I'm not thinking about the animation, I'm thinking about other things, my mind is drifting off, to other things, it becomes very meditative, very much like sewing or knitting or something like that. Then you can actually animate and enjoy it, which is such a strange concept to me. In other words, you're not going to be so focused on the final product. It doesn't really matter. It's just the enjoyment of the process. And that was something that I've noticed in school. A lot of times students like, yeah, I want to be an animator. I want to be an animator and I want to animate. I want to bring characters to life. Then they get into school, they jump into animation, and like, whoa, this is hard. This is hard to get things to move around. And you mean it takes 30 drawings to get someone to say hello? Dude, I want to be a storyboard artist. I want to be a character designer. I want to be a visual development artist. I want to be anything but an animator. I think that I've been kind of maybe touching on the issue, is that you need to get past all that stuff in order to start to enjoy it. So I really try to focus myself on, well, what do I enjoy? I don't really enjoy drawing the same character more than once. So that was the first thing out the window. I said, well, I can just draw him or her any way I want. I can change the drawings. I gave myself that amount of freedom. I don't like penciling anything out, so that was out of the equation. And then I just said, let me just go for it. Let me try to animate something that I really am excited about, would love to see animated. So I kind of set the tone, and then once I started getting into it, I didn't like it. I was like, this still is annoying. But then after a while I got into it. So anyway, I'm very, very happy about that. And the most exciting thing about this, I'm like, wait a second. Now, if I overcame this hurdle, then in the next scene that I animate, the next 100 drawings or the next 1,000 drawings are going to be even better and even more enjoyable, because I've kind of cleared the decks, and I'm trying to communicate this to my animators as well, is that don't worry about the first 10, 20, 30 drawings. We're going to use them, we're going to put them in the animation, okay? But that's only a second, 2 seconds tops if you shoot on 2s. 2 seconds, right? 2 seconds is nothing. Don't worry about it. Just draw, get into the scene, get into the zone. We'll use your drawings, good, bad, or whatever. And then what I think is that their artwork is going to get better and better and better, because a lot of times what makes animation stiff and boring and not as lively as it could be is the animator worrying about following a model sheet and all that stuff that I really don't like to do at all. So yeah, it's a lot of fun. I'm really, strangely enough, having fun with animating, which is kind of like almost like a new chapter in my in the series of work I've been doing. I still am passionate about doing a comic book that I'm also working on, but I've taken a break from that to work on this animation, and yeah, it's a pretty cool thing. I've also been thinking a lot about where I want to go, where I've been and where I want to go, and I was listening to a book on tape on Spielberg and his life and the choices that he has made growing up as a young person in the the trials and tribulations that he went through as a child and all that. But what I was very interested in was his choices. He made some very interesting choices as a young person. And those choices are extremely important to where he ended up. This is a story I've heard a million times, but when he was a kid and he was visiting Universal Studios. And he was on a bus tour, and he got off the bus they had like a bathroom break, and he hid in the bathroom. And then the bus took off without him, and he wandered around Universal Studios all day long, going into all the different offices and things like that. That was a conscious choice that he made, that he really, really wanted to be there. He wanted to be a filmmaker, to be a director. And those are the type of choices that we make as a creative person. Somebody may offer you a lot of money to do something that you don't really want to do, but you don't want to turn down the money because it's good for paying the rent or whatever. And those choices turn into years. They turn into a lot of years. And I've been really thinking about that and thinking about where I want to go. And I really feel comfortable, whatever I'm doing, I want to be directing. I teach at CalArts, USC, and Noman at the moment. And all three of these schools give me complete freedom as to how I want to teach, how I want to organize my class, how I want to lay out my classes. Also my online portfolio class and character design class. They're all giving me complete freedom. So whenever I feel like someone's offering me something, if I don't get complete freedom, I need to not take that job. I'm really starting to focus on that. So if I'm at least directing all the time, I'm happy. The next step is, of course, to push that directing and climb up the directing ladder a little bit, where I'm starting to do more ambitious things. Right now we're doing this small film, 3-minute short, 8 people. What if we did a TV commercial, even a spec commercial? Same thing, but we amp it up a little bit, and we try to get an agent or something like that as a way to take this to the next level. I would love to work as a full-time director, directing movies, feature films. And it's not that directing feature films is the greatest thing ever. There's a lot of stuff going on. There's a lot of stress. There's a lot of pressure. But that's something that I feel I would be in love. I would be dancing on the clouds if I could be directing, feature films as a living. So I'm moving towards that. But I am directing my own stuff every day. So it's not like I'm pining over something that I don't have. I just want to take what I have and just take it to the next level. Really, that's all. Just take it to the next level. So anyway, I'm pretty excited about all these new developments. And I'm pretty excited about doing these little audio, stream of consciousness things while I walk at the same time. So I really want to, keep improving my health. I want to start getting better, healthier, and also at the same time communicating my ideas, sharing them with the public, and having people come back to me and say, hey, I heard what you were talking about. I have an idea. Or have you seen this video? Or have you seen this artist? Have you seen this movie? You should see it. It's up your alley, etc., etc. So you're kind of sharing certain ideas, putting it out into the universe, and seeing what happens. It's very similar to the old, I remember when I was a kid, there was a cartoon where the little character is stuck on an island. They put a note in a bottle and they throw it in the ocean. That's exactly what this is, except imagine you're throwing thousands of bottles into the ocean every day with little notes. Eventually, one of those bottles have to reach someone who's going to rescue you from that island. But you have to keep putting it out there. And it's not a difficult thing. It's actually pretty cool. It's pretty fun. It's like you say, I want to be a director, right? But you say it 10 times a day, 20 times a day. I want to be a director. I want to be a director. I want to be studying these directors. I want to meet these directors. I want to hear them lecture. I want to direct. I want to direct. I want to direct. And then you start to get more specific. Well, what do you want to direct? Well, I want to direct this particular story. I want to direct these type of films. Then it starts to gear you towards a specific place. And once that place becomes crystal clear, and if it's your own studio, once that place becomes crystal clear, you're like inches away from getting it. You really are. Inches away from getting it. I always ask people, everybody asks people, what do you do? What do you want to do? And if someone says, I want to draw, I'm like, okay, where would you like to draw? Oh, I don't know. I just liked art. And I think to myself, okay, well, you're not ready. You're ready to draw, but you're not ready to make a living drawing yet. If you say specifically, I want to work at, you have a I want to work at Stan Winston Studios as a concept designer on Jurassic Park 5. And I have the name of the art director, and I would give anything to meet him or her. That's very specific. That's incredibly specific, and that'll get you a heck of a lot closer than I just want to draw. Even though you might not land the job at that particular studio, you're probably going to land something very similar and equally gratifying. So get yourself specific. Start looking into things that you're excited about and researching them and geeking out in them and really knowing them, knowing the people, knowing the names of the people that you admire, the people that you want to work for, work with. You want them to work with you, which I'm starting to do now. I'm seeking out people that I admire, and I'm like, I want them to work on my project. These people are great. I don't care if they're a seasoned illustrator or they're a student. If I like their work, I'm starting to hire them. I'm like, bring them on. Bring them over to the Inspiration Station. So anyway, this is my first audio blog, I guess I'll call it, while walking around my swimming pool. All right, well, great. Thanks for listening, and there'll be more to come. Cool.